Hi everyone, I'm Keenan Murray. I'm the Arizona Gravel Monkey. And as a geologist in Arizona, I often get the question, where do I go to find gold or go gold panning? Well, there are a lot of places in Arizona you can do that, and I'm going to highlight one of those today, the Rich Hill area or Rich Hill District. The Rich Hill District is located in Yavapai County, about 6 miles to the east of Congress and just down the hill from Yarnell. Let's show you a video of where that's at. In this aerial tour brought to you by Google Earth Pro, it starts just north of Wickenburg and where Hassayampa turns east. As you follow it north, you're going to see a line sort of in the middle. That's probably an area where they sort of spliced together two digital photographs, so you get a little compositional difference right there. As we move northward, we get into the Rich Hill District or Weaver District. We're going to see two streams sort of branching, one to the northeast, that's called Weaver Creek, and one that goes directly north-south in the center of the screen. That's Antelope Creek. The larger disturbance in the center, I believe, is the Lost Dutchman's mining camp. And what you'll note around this area is there's a lot of disturbance, a lot of diggings, a lot of roads, and that's because people have been mining out here for about 150 years. To the left or upper left, you see Highway 89. It goes through Yarnell there. And as we go up the hill here, we rise up and sort of plateau out. Up at the top of the screen, you're going to see a greener area. That's Peoples Valley. Now, the Rich Hill placers were discovered by a party of prospectors led by Captain Pauline Weaver in around 1863. So according to many reports, what happened was some of the pack animals got away, or maybe the horse got away or something like that, and one of the helpers went up the hill to look for it and found gold the size of giant nuggets, like fist size. They reportedly call them potato-sized nuggets. So after they discovered the nuggets, there was an immense period of prospecting and mining for the golden streams. And by 20 years later, about $1 million worth of gold had been pulled out of that area. By around 1900, the territorial geologist William Blake had written a report that there were men up there pulling out $2,000 worth of gold every month out of that area. Now back then gold was $20 an ounce, so that would be about 100 ounces. Now at today's prices, what, $4,000 or $5,000? We're talking $400,000, $500,000 in a month. That's pretty good. Now production for this area has been going on for 150 years. It started back in the late 1860s and is still going through today. If you look around, you're going to see lots of workings in that area. People are out there all the time. So Arizona is broken down into three physiographic provinces. You got the Basin Range in the lower area, you got the Colorado Plateau in the upper area, higher elevations, and then in between you have what we call the transition zone in between. The transition zone is really noted for the rugged terrain and a lot of old Precambrian rocks, 1.6, 1.8 billion years old. Looking at the geologic map here, provided by the Arizona Geologic Survey, we zoom in just a little bit. Well, first let me note, you can tell by this color, this is the Colorado Plateau. You can see that's one distinct section. Down below in this area, you got a lot of yellows and stuff like that. This is Basin Range, lower elevation, and then in between here, you got a lot of browns through here. This is your transition zone. Zooming in a little bit more. So here's Wickenburg here. If you follow this road 93, then come up this way, take Arizona 89. This is the Congress area right here, which is primarily comprised of Pliocene and Middle Miocene deposits, evidently. Anyhow, this area is Yarnell, and right below is where you'd find Rich Hill. And you're going to see that this whole swath of rock area is all Precambrian rocks. So we'll click on this. Here we go. Middle Proterozoic granitic rocks. Very common rocks in that area. This would be early Proterozoic metavolcanics. Early Proterozoic metasedimentary rocks. And then sort of spaced in between these, you get some of these tertiary basalts. So late to middle Miocene basaltic rocks. Very common. The gold mineralization in Rich Hill is associated primarily with either vein deposits or the mafic dikes that came out during the Tertiary period. Throughout the transition zone, what you're going to see is most of the mineralization associated with some sort of tertiary emplacement, either the mafic dikes or the vein, hydrothermal vein deposits. Now that we know a little bit about the geology, let's take a look at the mineral and land record system that the BLM has. That'll help us tell what's going on out there as far as claims and notices and plans and things like that. To get to the mineral and land record system webpage, just type in MLRS space BLM. That should bring you up right to this page. Now, mineral land record systems are a new database for pretty much everything we do with BLM. You want to look at the map, so we're going to click here to access the MLRS main page, and we're going to look at the research in our real-time map. Be patient, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to come up. We'll zoom down here. You can scroll to zoom in. Now when this map opens up, I'm not sure if everybody has it set the same way, but my map opens up to just sort of a basic base map, not a whole lot showing up. Has names, some of the roads, things like that, in the public land survey system or with the township and range. Now I know from the past research that Rich Hill is located in this general area. Here's Yarnell. So we're looking down here. You can see these lines here. Those are patented claims, most likely. But let's add a base map in here. And I'm also going to turn on some layers. So we're going to turn on first the surface management layer. And you can see it came up. It's very faded and hard to see though. So you can change the opacity in here, increase opacity. Unfortunately, you have to hit this every time. Alright, now you can see it a little bit better. And also we will turn on, the mining claims layer. Here we go. Now let me show you the legend for the mining claims. So load claim, you got hatches going this way, placer claims, hatches going the opposite way. Tunnel site, mill site, we don't really see a lot of tunnel or mill sites, but those are very common, the load and placer claims, especially in this area. Let's close that, close that. So we look in here, here's Stanton. That's a little, sort of little tiny town. Here's Congress Junction or Congress. To access it, you'd come up through Wickenburg, up 89, through Congress Junction, come up here, and there's a road. You can barely see it. We'll zoom in a little bit. I believe it's called the Stanton Road, and you can take this road over toward that area. Yeah, Stanton Road. This, I believe, is a old dairy farm, not in use anymore. And what you'll notice, land-wise, all the yellowish color is BLM, all the blue color is state trust land, and the areas without color are private lands. So you'll see this area is a mixture of federal, state, and a lot of private land. And I'm sure the private land was associated with patents given way back when for all the gold they found. You'll also see that based on the claims, we've got placer claims with the hatches going this way, we got load claims with the hatches going this way, and then we got a combination where you got some going back and forth. Now if you zoom in close enough, you're going to see these are the actual claim numbers, and they can give you data about what's going on. Now, chances of you being able to stake a claim out here are probably pretty slim at this point, at least in the areas that are known to have a lot of gold, because just looking at this map, it's been staked continuously for probably 150 years. So someone most likely has it. So if you want to go gold panning out there or metal detecting or something like that, that's fine. But you got to be careful that you're not wandering across other people's claims, because they have the mineral rights to that area. And so you shouldn't be on their claim. Now 99.9% of the people out there, the miners, are pretty nice. They'll be nice about it. That 0.1% you got to watch out for. They're the shoot first, ask questions later type people. But like I said, most people are pretty cool about it. But you need to know that you're not supposed to be on other people's claims, metal detecting and panning. But one of the good things is there's a lot of different groups that do gold mining and gold panning in this area. Lost Dutchman's Mining Association, Roadrunners, Prospecting Club, I believe. There's a few others that have a bunch of claims out here where you can get in with that group and go out there and work as a group to gold pan or to dig for gold, metal detect, things like that. One interesting thing you can do with this map is if you hit this I button, you can scroll in and select an area, and it'll tell you what claims are out there and usually who owns those claims. So we've got 15 records here. So just in this tiny little area, 15 records. If you use the arrow here, you can go across. You can see here's the claim number. That's the old legacy claim number. This is the new claim number. That's nice number 1. And we've got a lot of claims in this area, and it's highlighting all of them. Alright, backing up. We'll go to Rich Hill's Secrets. Let's check that one out. So with this, you can hit case or serial register page to get more information. We'll hit case. Okay, 20-acre load claim. Name of the claim, Rich Hill Secrets. Got the claim numbers, claim types. We can go in, check case customers, maybe. See who's there. Oh, it doesn't have any case customers listed. That doesn't mean there isn't a customer, just because of the way this was put into the database, and it's an old claim. I'm sure it has case customers somewhere. Let's look at the related records. That'll tell us a little bit about what's going on. So in here we can see at the very top it's sorted chronologically with the newest actions at the top. So August 27th, 2025, they paid their maintenance fee for the year. So they're good to go for this year. Anyhow, that was a very quick overview of the Rich Hill District, or Weaver District, named after Pauline Weaver. And it's a great place to go out, get your feet wet. Not literally, probably most of the streams are not flowing, but to learn about metal detecting, gold panning, things like that. Fall in with one of the groups. You can just Google them online. Roadrunners Prospectors Club, Lost Dutchman's Mining Association. There's probably a bunch more that have claims out there. I'm sure those guys have those claims. But go out there, have fun, and good luck. Like I said, you can go on federal lands, any BLM land, as long as it's not already claimed, and do gold panning, casual use type stuff. Anyway, have fun and happy exploration.